Hey Calgary, welcome to this edition of SoundScape. Today in the studio we have our very first ska band, so please welcome Class Action.
The best songs come from broken romances and tragedies, so but I can seem to think of a single thing to complain about. Maybe it's just a matter of my own perspective, but I can't think of any choice that I've regretted. I just feel good, turning out better than I thought it could. Everything is coming up me. Everything seems to go right. On the street, it keeps happening night to night. No matter who I can't seem to lose, good luck on my side. Whatever I do, too good to be true, I can't be denied. That girl at work has finally noticed. Sun is shining, frisbee is flying, and I can't help but smiling. Everything's going my way, just might be the perfect day. My whole life seems trouble-free, and everything keeps coming up. I'm just too good, turning out better than I thought it could. Everything is coming up me. In all those days, everything seems to go right. On the street, it keeps happening night to night. No matter who I can't seem to lose, good luck on my side. Whatever I do, too good to be true, I can't be denied. Everything seems to go right. On the street, it keeps happening night to night. No matter who I can't seem to lose, good luck on my side. I do too good to be true, I can't be denied. Too good, it's turning out better than I thought it could. Everything is coming up, we're singing everything is coming up. Everything is coming up me. wood, the sagas never days. Creating efforts, they really are to find a way. All of this is meant for your consideration. So disregard for the slightest moderation. Self-consumption that's never become the norm. It's manifested for just never driven more.
Only when the power of love overcomes the love of power, only then will the world know peace. Only when the power of love overcomes the love of power, only then will the world know peace.
Seems to me the powers will simply drug. Let's get a little taste of music, give it up. Do anything they can just to sell a little more. Sell on the soul so they can get it, let us go. Thirst for power, it's really an addiction. A night diagnosed but a serious infliction. Not like other illnesses that slowly kill the host. Disease cause the ones who will never get a dose.
Only when the power of love overcomes the love of power, only then will the world know peace. Only when the power of love overcomes the love of power, only then will the world know peace.
Calgary, we are with Trevor, Tracy, and Alex, also known as the rhythm section for Class Action. So my first question is, how did Class Action get started?
Well, about 10 years ago, we started the band. We'd always kind of joked about starting a ska band. Trevor and I and our original sax player, who's no longer with the band. And our trombone player, Mark, had just recently moved back to Calgary from college in Red Deer. And so we decided to make a go of it, and somehow we've been around for 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years is a long time for a band to be together and be so successful. What is something you guys have learned along the way?
I think just don't take anything too seriously. I think there's a lot of hiccups and things that go along the way, and certainly like with having so many people in a band, like there's a lot of different opinions, and so it can be tough to, combine all those into one goal, but as long as everybody, respects everybody and doesn't take anything too seriously, we have a good time.
Yeah, you guys do have a lot of people. There's 7 of you. What would you say are some of the benefits to having a big group?
Lots of different input when writing songs, I would say, is probably the biggest one. So what I like is that anytime we sit down, there's a guarantee that any one person can come with a song, and then we have all these different inputs from all these different people with different opinions on, like, actually, horn section, we want trumpet and trombone solo, and we think it'll help make the song pop or something, whatever. And we all bring something different, and what happens is we get a really diverse kind of sound and group of songs, as you'll hear today.
Yeah. Something that's really neat about you guys, and I'm wondering if you practice this, when you're up there and you're doing it, you all kind of move together in like a sync unit. Is that something you work on, or does that just happen naturally?
Well, I think the horns actually choreographed their moves, but the rest of us, we just kind of do our own thing.
Yeah.
So what is the writing a song process like? Do you start with the music, or do you start with the lyrics?
What usually happens is I'll, on my own, work on guitar part and lyrics and bring a structure to the band, and then everybody will layer their parts on top of it, and they'll make suggestions and changes, and so it really becomes like a whole group thing.
So you guys just got off of your big 10-year reunion tour. What was that like?
Oh my. In like 3 words or less, we have a lot of debt. Yeah, so we like to call it level 2 fun. So not at all fun while it was happening, but now we look back and we have all these really great stories, which make it fun to kind of relive, like houses blowing up, buses breaking down, and staying at hotels with suspicious deaths. So
Let's go back. Houses blowing up?
yeah, well, you guys
You
want
just
this.
had to. No, we were staying at a friend's house in Winnipeg after our show, and we have an old handy bus that we've turned into our tour vehicle. And usually we have one person sleep in the bus. We can sleep like 8 people in it, but everyone else was sleeping in the house. But we leave someone in the bus just to, in case someone tries to break in, all our gears in there and stuff. So in Winnipeg, it was my turn to sleep in the bus, and I woke up at about 4 a.m. to the sound of glass breaking and screaming, and I realized that right next door to where I was parked in front of the house beside it, right next door, smoke started shooting out the front window of this house, and it started going up in flames, and I just I gotta get out of here. So I went and started the bus and drove away, and
Just left them.
well, I drove like yeah. I was like, I can't be here. This is that was a serious adrenaline hit.
Yeah.
Drove like a block away, and my starting the bus woke up everyone else. So then they come outside, and there's this big inferno, and the bus is gone, and they're like, "What's going on?" So yeah, that was an
That's
interesting
how we
night.
ended the tour.
Oh, nice
With a
ending.
bang.
Yeah, that was right after our last show.
Yeah.
So Winnipeg is hot, I guess.
So what is it about ska music that you guys really drew you to that genre?
Probably, for me, a couple of different things. One, the fact that it's so underrepresented and that we get to be kind of one of the few or only, I guess, for a long time, ska bands in Calgary and help keep that scene alive. But also it's just so fun and it's so upbeat and it's so happy and it's so energetic. And for me as a former high school band nerd, it's an opportunity to keep that musical talent and skill going and still get to play with, Garielle and I went to high school together. And if it wasn't for the bands, who knows if we'd still be friends.
Yeah.
I love you.
That's awesome. So why don't we get back to some more music and then more with Class Action.
Let me ask you something. Is there nothing I can say? Would your mind to figure out some other way? Isn't like the answer. Trust me, it's a curse. You think it'll solve your problems, but it'll only make them worse. Let me ask you something, is there nothing I can do to help you come to terms with what you're going through? When you're out of options and you've nothing left to lose, you think you're dying out, but you're just dying your own news. May look dark now, but tomorrow that could change. Don't give up hope yet. Together we'll find a way. You think it's all determined, but you couldn't be more wrong. Together we'll work it out. This doesn't have to mean so long. Up against a wall, you're feeling trapped and all alone. Losing everything and everyone you've known. All made bad decisions. Trust me, I've made a few. Please don't let this be the one that ends up finding you. Things may look dark now, but tomorrow that could change. Don't give up hope yet. Together we'll find a way. You think it's all determined, but you couldn't be more wrong. Together we'll work it out. This doesn't have to mean so long. Things may look dark now, but tomorrow that could change. Don't give up hope yet.
So we are back with Evan, Nate, Mark, and Gabrielle, also known as the horn section, or as they like to call themselves, the better section. So my first question is, what does the name Class Action mean?
It was a name that we came to after a great amount of deliberation, because obviously there's a lot of us. We actually played our first show as Scamelian, and then promptly changed our name. But it's a little bit political, not in the legal sense of class action, but more like political with class and all. So and it was something that we all could finally agree on after running through hundreds of names. So nothing particularly epic about deciding on it. It just was what we could all agree on eventually.
So you're actually one of the founding members, and then you all joined at later times. What was it like joining the band?
For me, it was easy because he quit, so I had an open spot. But yeah, I don't know.
I took a hiatus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the original saxophone player actually moved to Squamish, so I met these guys all when I was playing in a different ska band, and so as soon as their original saxophone player left, they were like, we don't know that many sax players. In fact, they only knew one, so it was pretty easy for me too.
And for me, I was harassed over a number of years to join Class Action, and I finally said yes. And it was a good decision.
So with 7 people, what are some of the challenges you guys face?
Scheduling. Like, even getting us all in the same room just to jam is pretty hard to do. So we often have jams with 5 people, and then you'll try and get the other 2 in next jam and stuff like that. But it does, I guess, help sometimes because we can play shows down like 1 or 2 people because there's so many of us that we can kind of cover that up. So it gives us some benefits, but also it's just really hard to coordinate everybody.
But it definitely makes a difference because you guys are so in sync. Actually, we were talking in the other interview that you guys may do some dance choreography before you perform. Is that true?
What choreography? That's all intuition. We just know each other.
You just know each other so well.
So coming in today, we made sure that all of our sort of dance moves were the same, but it's pretty much stuff that we just fall into doing on stage. And at one point, you'll realize that 3 of the horns are all doing the exact same thing. And you're like, hey, this looks pretty cool. We should probably formalize it and officially make it sort of our dance move for the song. But yeah, most of it we just kind of fall into the way the music feels, and the notes we're playing, they're usually sort of associated with how we're dancing along to it. So it's pretty easy to do.
So you just released a 10th year anniversary album. How did that album differ from all the other ones?
I was on this one. I was lucky.
It's gotten tighter and tighter. Like, I was on the first recordings and the second recordings, and it's gotten so much tighter since then. The first time we recorded, there was like 3 mics in the room, and we just recorded, played a song. And as we've been going, we're actually, okay, now we're 1 person at a time in a studio. So it's gotten a lot better, and the songwriting's gotten a lot better. So I think overall, it's just far better music coming out now.
We're stylistically diverse as well. We played a lot that was very punk rock in our earlier albums, and it's sort of drifted a little bit apart into a few different styles. Yeah.
And what is it about ska in general that drew you guys to that genre to make this band?
Well, I play trombone, so and not much else. So it was pretty logical for me to want to be in a ska or a jazz band. So.
Yeah, as horn players, we don't have a ton of options. There aren't that many like metal bands with horns in them.
Not that we don't love ska.
Not that, yeah. I mean, we love ska too, and that's part of the reason we all play horn. But also, I just love the complexity of it. Very interesting, very complex music, and that's something that drew me to it.
What about this tour made you guys like love it so much? Because it was your 10th anniversary.
I think it's probably because I wasn't there.
Oh,
Made it the best. So yeah.
Yeah, we toured with one trombone, which was fine. Just I don't know, making the memories. We never actually toured east of Calgary before, except for Quick Johns on the prairies. So to get all the way across was painful but awesome.
What is the ska community like in Calgary?
You're looking at it, I think.
It's not good.
That's not true. We got Jory Kinjo, JK and the Relays. We got Hats and Black Ties, we share a couple members with as well. And I'm sure there's some others out there. They come and go. Some of them, we see a band that comes around for a little while and then disappears. But
Yeah,
there have been?
overall, it's a pretty small scene. It always has been, but especially in recent years, there just haven't been as many ska bands coming in and out as much. So that's a little bit sad for us, but at the same time, whenever a really big ska band comes into town, we usually get to open for them because there's not that many other options. So it's good for us.
Take me home tonight. See a young one the pack has left behind. Your mother said, Christian boys don't lie. Nothing like the hunt. The adrenaline, the heart pumping blood. Where riots still hide guilt of that remains the blood which I have spilled. Holding your breath, don't close your eyes. This all will be over in a short time. You want to save your love for someone else, but your pale brown eyes never get to see, no, they never get to see another face as real as mine. There's no more remorse. We can't stop now, this has to run its course. No sympathy in this dying day. Holding your breath, don't close your eyes. You've never seen an evil of this kind. You want to save your love for someone else, but your better heart never find another one like mine. You want to save your love for somebody else who is this foolish game. Oh, you'll never get to see, no, you'll never get to see another face as real as mine. Sometimes it seems that with all of this progress, that we just seem to regress. We lost track of our focus, and we can't seem to get it back now. With all of these advances in technology, we don't seem to be happy. All we think of is money, and that doesn't seem right to me now. We all just need to stop and simplify. Slow ourselves down and ask ourselves why we are who we are, and why we do what we do. And maybe, just maybe, get ourselves through. Seems to me that at some point we lost track. Now we just need to step back, cut ourselves some slack, and figure out just where we're going. I don't think that this is the path we were meant to take. Now I'm saying for all our sake, there's some changes we need to make before it gets too late to fix this. We all just need to stop and simplify. Slow ourselves down and ask ourselves why we are who we are, and why we do what we do. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get ourselves through. Too far gone. Believe that it's been too long. It's true that your tricks are wrong, but I can't help but see no count. There's all these people like you and me out there, the people that do care, that think of the future. I've got to think we stand each other. We all just need to stop and simplify. Slow ourselves down and ask ourselves why we are who we are, why we do what we do. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get ourselves through.
So who is most likely to trip or fall off stage during a performance?
Nate.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Nate.
Most likely to trip or fall off stage during a performance?
Nate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nate.
We agree.
Yeah, we concur.
Most likely to keep everyone else up on tour?
Evan.
Still.
Definitely.
For sure, me.
Yeah.
That's
No question.
Yeah.
I win.
Most likely to keep everyone else up while on tour?
Evan.
Who is the messiest person?
Alex.
You think Alex?
I would agree with them. Yeah.
Alex
Alex.
spreads
I think
out
Alex,
his
yeah.
stuff.
Who is the messiest person in the band?
Alex. Maybe, yeah, probably Alex.
Most likely to blast Taylor Swift during a long drive?
Great.
What do you think? She's really good.